a jacket potato without cheese. Like, I can't stomach such a thing. Anyway, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this as of yet unnamed review show, where we Blunt Lemons pick a franchise to review. I'm joined here today by a myriad of lemons. First of which is you, Jim.
I am a lemon, and I am part of the myriad. I've got nothing.
Speaking as part of the collective, we've got Dion.
Hello there. You may recognise me from the Anime Talk Show or Twitch. Go check both of those out.
Speaking of checking people out, we've got a Benjamin as well.
Hey! Hi, I'm Ben. You may recognise me from nowhere, but here.
He totally doesn't have hair plugs.
This is now a running joke, apparently.
Ben's just going to be the bald one.
This isn't our second attempt at this at all. No.
Could we change Ben's icon to just a lemon without hair?
So just a lemon, then?
Just a lemon, yeah.
Can he just be a plain old lemon?
A bald-faced lemon.
I do control the art.
It's true, you are in charge of that. But anyway, you know what I'm in charge of. That's right, this show, which is nameless.
As of yet.
So what do we do here, Krishna?
Right. Every week, we take a movie from a certain franchise, this current one being the MCU, and we review it. Well, review it, talk about it, discuss our feelings on it, and at the end of that week, we insert it into a list. This week, it will be a list of one, because we watched one film, that's right, only Iron Man. But, as the weeks progress, we'll eventually get a very comprehensive list of the MCU, as voted for by your favourite lemon personalities.
And that's a ranked list, yes?
Yes, a ranked list. Well, each of us will have our own opinions. At the end of each week, we'll vote where it shall end up in the list. Probably by a raising of the hand or something like that. Not that we can see each other, which would, kind of put a hole in that.
A raising of the voice.
A raising of the voice,
Whoever
yes.
speaks loudest. I'm guessing this one's going to be first in the list.
I don't know where you get that idea from. I don't
know. I feel like it would be last in the list.
Oh, it's the high chance.
And that, they're the same thing.
Yeah.
Depends on how you look at it.
From a certain point of view.
Exactly. Good one. This is the wrong franchise for that.
We'll get to it one day in 2025.
Yeah, we're doing MCU, and then because of that preamble before the show, we're definitely doing Harry Potter next, and then we can all hate each other with Star Wars.
Whoa. It's going to be a great time because we're watching pretty average movies throughout this whole endeavour. So, what are we doing, Chris?
Let's kick it off with, we're talking about Iron Man, which was released on the 2nd of May 2008, which, believe it or not, is nearly 12 years ago today, which makes me feel old and spoiled.
Damn. It didn't feel that old when I was watching it, actually.
Yeah, how old were we when that was about then? 12 years ago.
So I think we ascertained we were like...
I was 11. Jesus.
We were like year 8 and year 7. You were probably in year 7, Dion, so we were like 13, 12.
Yeah, it would have been about 13. You could have just taken the years off how old you are.
I mean...
It would have been simple.
Look, we're not that smart.
I mean, I did. I said I was 11.
I was going to say, Dion did the right thing. Ben was like, if we're going in school years, we would have been...
He's going off my logic.
I was in year 7.
In the aborted recording, the way I work out those things early in the 2000, like 2008, that means I was in year 8 because I'm stupid. Okay, that's just how it works out.
I mean, you said it.
So we were basically like the target audience for this when it came out, and I saw it in the cinema. I don't know if any of you did. Oh, nice. Awesome.
I didn't see this film. I watched it. The first time I watched it was I watched all the MCU films in the lead up to Endgame, I think, and that was the first time I watched Iron Man.
Seriously?
What?
Damn. That's really interesting.
I can't.
I think Iron Man was the only one I missed out. Like watching it. Actually, no, I didn't watch like Phase 1 in cinemas, but I watched them all on DVD when they came out. But Iron Man, I just never watched. I think Iron Man 2 I'd also not watched until but I watched Iron Man 2 before I watched Iron Man. So,
All right.
I'm a smart cookie.
So Dion, were you excited for this to go see it? Because I was.
I mean, I reasonably was. That was more because of the trailers and such. So, I've never been a huge comics person. I've never It's not like I disliked superheroes, but up until that point, the only superhero I liked was Spider-Man because of the Tobey Maguire films.
Yeah.
So I was just like, ooh, Iron Man, this sounds cool.
I mean,
sure, let's try it.
We'd had such classics as the Fantastic Four films by this point. So
To be fair, at that point in time, I liked those films because I don't know the comics.
The X-Men films as well, which are pretty okay. X2.
I can probably tell you why I didn't watch Iron Man at the time. Because when I was 12 or 13 years old, I was very tribal, and I was very into Batman. And this was also the same year The Dark Knight came out. So I probably just picked a side and argued for it.
Oh my god!
blindly.
You went on the DC side.
Because for some reason in my head I had it that The Dark Knight came out in 2011, but that was The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, that one competed with the Avengers, and I may have picked the wrong side in history on that one back in the day. But we'll get to that in a few weeks' time.
Oh god, at some point, do we have to cover the DCU?
I mean, I'd like to.
God above.
I think you just
That's going to be painful.
You do hate
My movie opinions are going to cause such fun in this group. Anyway, shall we give our quick thoughts on Iron Man then, before we get into an in-depth plot synopsis?
Sure, I'll go first. Considering that this film is nearly 12 years old, apart from a few bits of CGI here and there, I think it's aged rather well, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I haven't watched this film in a good few years, because I didn't rewatch all of them before Endgame, so this is my first viewing in a good 7 years, something like that. Yeah, totally enjoyable.
Its CG stands up surprisingly well. But that might just because I don't like modern CG that much, but it still looks good to me.
Like you said, when you said it came out 12 years ago, I was very surprised. It did not look like it was that old. At all.
Yeah. I mean, I think his suit looks better in this than it does in some later films. I think it looks better in this than it does in Civil War. Because in Civil War they've got his head superimposed on top of it, and it looks a bit strange.
I mean, that's an interesting fact I know about Iron Man 1. Iron Man 1 is the only Iron Man film where they had practical Iron Man suits, on set. A lot of the, when he crashed into the car, you can tell that's quite clearly there and whatnot. So, and they actually put him in inside a plastic suit and whatnot. So a lot of the time it looks a lot more there. Beyond this film, they just CG'd the suit almost every time.
Did they then throw him at a car?
I doubt that. I doubt that one quite severely.
You mean they didn't have him jump up into the air and smash his face against the ceiling?
Oh my god, that would have killed him. That would have killed anyone.
There were so many moments.
That robot.
We'll get to it, but there are so many moments in the film where I'm just dead. But in superhero films, I'm it's fine.
I mean, Tom Cruise would have done it.
I think he was in the running to get it.
What was he actually?
I can imagine.
It would have to be a smaller suit.
Isn't Robert Downey Jr.? Yeah. Oh, sorry.
He's not very tall either. Robert Downey Jr. He's 5'8".
5 foot.
5 foot. He's 5 feet tall exactly.
See what comes up right every time someone says someone in Hollywood is short. He's really short. He's 5'8". I'm like,
I was gonna say
I'm
5'8". I was gonna say 5'8's the average height.
No, I shouldn't. No, that's not what I meant.
It happens all the time. Kit Harington was a classic short person. Even made fun of it in Game of Thrones. He's 5'8". I'm like, I guess I'm a midget then. I guess being 5'8" makes me a midget.
Yeah,
I'm comparing him to Chris Hemsworth and Chris Evans, who are Chris Hemsworth is 6, I don't know, 5 or something. So I don't know.
It is weird though, because you're right. Jon Snow, Kit Harington, got took the piss out of all the time. Even in the actual goddamn show, did Daenerys say I prefer taller?
I thought you'd be taller.
Then the later series, they suddenly started calling him short. I'm like, what? He's not short.
I know he's average height, but Sophie Turner's quite tall and she wears heels and stuff. So in all the media stuff, she's a good 4 or 5 inches taller. And everyone's like, he must be 2 foot. This silly bastard.
Yeah, Sophie Turner's tall. Emilia Clarke is tiny though. She's a little midget person.
She's 5 foot.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I feel like we've got distracted.
This is very not Iron Man related. Shall we move on to the plot synopsis then?
Yes.
Do it.
Yes.
Okay.
I would like to say the first blast from the past, though, when we loaded up this film, was seeing the Paramount logo and the old Marvel logo. God damn.
Oh, right. I thought you were going to talk about the flip phone.
No.
Oh god. The flip phone.
Literally the opening of the film with the Paramount symbol and the Marvel. I'm just this is weird.
I'm not even sure the last time I've watched a Paramount film, to be honest.
Exactly. That's why I was like, oh Jesus, Paramount.
But yeah, so shall I go in depth on the plot details as much as I can from my memory, and we talk about it?
Do it.
Yeah, kind of. I'm just going to scroll through the film as we go as well.
Yeah,
like
I've got
anything
it.
big we miss.
I've got it up.
Okay then, ladies and gentlemen, we begin in a far distant land in a galaxy far. No, it's Afghanistan, and it's about 12 years ago. And Tony Stark is riding in a car with a lot of different soldiers who they're nervous of him because he's all famous like.
Can I just say, I've watched this film like a million times. I never saw the man with the goats before.
The man with the goats?
Yeah, they drive past the
They
man
randomly
with
drive
some
by
goats.
one.
And
Do
I
they?
never saw him before. Yep, he's there.
Is that like one of those movie mistake things?
Yeah.
No.
Like in Braveheart where they've got the cars
Is
on the
it?
road.
No, it's not a movie. It's just an
I was gonna
extra.
say.
But no.
He's
I was
actually
going to say,
just a
that
bloke
feels
who
like a
lives
thing
in
you'd see,
Afghanistan.
just a random farmer.
That's the only
Nope,
thing
never saw him.
I hadn't seen before in this film. That's it. After that, I knew everything.
I couldn't remember any at the beginning, but anyway. Go on, Dusseldorf.
Anyway, he's riding in a truck full of soldiers, and he's being Tony Stark. He's charming the pants off them, and I'm sure he'd have banged that lady, given the chance, you know? Excellent bone structure and all that.
Given enough time.
If she had time. Oh. She gets killed.
Spoilers, because she's about to get have her face blown off by terrorists.
Structure now.
It's true, that bone structure is pulverised by hard, cold lead.
Jesus.
So yeah, some bombs go off, and the convoy is attacked by terrorists, and Tony Stark, in a moment of that really dates this film, as Ben mentioned before, whips out his little flip phone. He's ready to get help on his tiny little flip phone as he crouches behind a rock.
But it's a flip phone with really cool techie noises, so it's futuristic. Obviously.
But it looks like it's not just a normal flip phone, though, is it? It's a bit strange looking.
He flips the screen sideways.
You can use it as like a video call as well.
I think that's what makes it futuristic.
What I love about the flip phone is that he's got holographic technology. They've got all this sci-fi shit, yet everyone still uses Nokias.
Yeah.
For some reason, we have holographic technology that can you can whip up an Iron Man suit in minutes, but we still have to use the Nokia.
I mean, you're not going to get that sponsor money from a hologram.
It's true, unless it's a
LGs now.
Nokia hologram.
Yeah, I think.
And I suppose smartphones weren't really a thing yet.
I mean, it's 2008. The iPhone's been out for a year or two.
I don't know. My perspective on smartphones is I got my first one when I joined Red House. So
That must be when the
until then, I had a good old-fashioned Sony Ericsson.
Whoop, whoop.
I remember I was against iPhone culture, so I was like, I'm going to get a BlackBerry. It's got a keyboard. Yeah, that when I was on the right side.
I remember that
of
old war.
I was on the right side of history yet again.
You're proving you're worth it.
Anyway, in an important plot moment, Tony Stark gets blown up by one of his very own bombs. Maybe this will trigger a change of heart in him, and he'll, I'm just spoiling the movie. Anyway, cut to 36 hours earlier. We're in Las Vegas at an award ceremony, because apparently, this is one thing in the movie that I guess maybe it's because I'm not in the weapons industry, but they really big up Tony Stark as this celebrity weapons dealer. He's on the front of Forbes. He's getting all the hot models. Everybody knows his name because he's motherfucking Tony Stark, and he sells weapons to the U.S. military. And I'm I can't name you one military supplier in real life.
I love it going through those magazine covers. It's him as a little kid, him with a motorbike, and then it's him without a beard, and then him with a beard, and then Jeff Bridges behind him, and then Jeff Bridges looking down on the earth and stuff like that. It's a bit of a weird scene, actually.
There's some strange foreshadowing there as well. There's a lot of ones where Jeff Bridges is looking very evil,
ominous.
Yeah, he's very ominous and evil in the background.
Whoever was doing the Forbes covers were we want to make Tony Stark look like a hero, but we also want to make Jeff Bridges look like a supervillain.
Yeah.
How many shots of him standing on the planet can we get?
Or suspiciously looking at Tony.
Yeah, he's looking at one of them. He's looking over his shoulder, and the shadows on his face. He looks really ominous. He's got he tilts his head up. He looks motherfucker.
Now, granted, to be fair, they are the leads in weapons design and manufacturing and such. So I imagine those would be ominous people. But at the same time,
yeah, I'm a big fan of that guy.
You'd expect the Forbes photographer to want to put him in a good light.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe lie down, do that little cool pose.
Take after Tony, have a drink.
Exactly. Under the top button of your shirt, get the people on your side.
There's a picture of Howard Stark in like the newspaper where he's like died. It mentions the mum, but it doesn't have a picture of the mum. I guess she wasn't important enough to have a picture.
It's Disney film. Come on.
Speaking of which, by the way,
actually, did Disney have them at this point?
No, they bought them after Avengers.
Okay.
You got that Disney money. This movie, there's a lot of like stuff they wouldn't get away with now, or wouldn't put. Probably because it wasn't Disney at the time. Stuff that they probably wouldn't get put in Disney movie now.
Yeah, this movie is way edgier than later Marvel in a lot of ways.
I was gonna say one of the things I really appreciated about the opening of this, and I couldn't, like I said just there, I couldn't remember about when Disney bought them all and stuff. But I do like how, like, it's kind of because it's the first film, but at the same time I liked how grounded it was, kind of in the like just the opening. With the terrorists and soldiers and stuff, it was just like, oh shit.
It is so grounded. Even though it's about a man who can like fly, it's a really like low.
There's no over the top supervillains or anything in the sense.
Well, Obadiah Stane.
Well,
yeah.
Obadiah Stane's great up until a point, and at some point it's like a screw just went loose in his brain. It's like, okay, it's time to murder everyone. Fuck subtlety anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing with the later part of the movie, but for the most part, it is a very grounded story. But it gets away with shit.
I don't see any of the new Marvel films coming out from now on dealing with just like terrorists in the Middle East. It's like, nope, it's gonna be alien threats and such, or Vulture style villains. I doubt we're gonna get like just solid normal terrorists again being a primary threat.
That's kind of the magic of the MCU. We start here and end on Thanos, you know. Like we've travelled a long way since being here.
Exactly. That's the thing. You couldn't go back to this point because it'd be a bit dull. Now you've like saved the universe. Like, what do you do now?
I don't know. I really quite like it when they go to like these more low level stories. Like, not every story has to be about them like saving the planet every time.
No, of course.
Like with Spider-Man: Homecoming or the Netflix series.
Yeah, this one's one of my favorite. Well, maybe I can't remember, to be honest. I enjoyed this
well,
one.
in 23 weeks, I'm sure you'll find out.
We'll find out where we stand. Yeah.
Jesus.
Anyway,
that's half a year.
Anyway, Tony's in Las Vegas and he's meant to be accepting a reward from that dastardly best friend of his, Colonel Rhodes. I can't remember his first name.
That character is going to be the actor's going to make regular appearances. Yep, he's going to make regular appearances in the MCU.
He's going to be a mainstay. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. But guess what? Tony's not there because that rapscallion is just out there playing poker. I think it's poker. I don't know. Gambling.
no,
but at any rate, this is all to set up Tony he's a bit of a maverick playboy. He likes that pussy because
that's sweet.
Because he's a high rolling weapons dealer. Apart from the fact he rolls really low when Rhodes refused to blow on his dice. Speaking of blowing on dice, some lady reporter turns up and she's like, "Mr. Stark, you're evil." And he's like, "I'm only as evil as Will lets me be, baby. Now, suck my ding-dong." And off they go to have their ding-dong sucked.
Yeah. Again, stuff you wouldn't get away. It's the little bit where she approaches him and he says to that guy, he's like, "Is she pretty?" And he goes, yeah. And he turns and he's like, "Okay, I'll give her an interview." That sort of stuff is the stuff
I didn't hear that part.
Oh, no, yeah. But I heard it. I was like, "Ooh, this is
I heard Happy's response, which... two things there. One, seeing Happy again, I was just like, damn, you look quite different from you like 12 years from now. The other one just being like, I didn't hear Iron Man ask a question, but I just heard, yeah, she's pretty. It's like, okay.
It's interesting how Happy's actually like barely in this one. He's got like 2 lines, and then he becomes like a major character later on. It's really good thing about this movie that like Tony's like actually he's kind of just a bad dude. I think that's what really...
That's what I was going to say. They do like a really great... They don't make him unlikable. Even when he's a douche, he's a fun douche. But
I think...
like he does such a good job of setting him up as like not a great dude.
Yeah, what I noted down was for the beginning of the movie, he's just a likable sort of villain. He's a weapons dealer, just selling things that just blows everyone to shit. And he's like, "Yep, cool, whatever." He could. If you didn't know who he was or what he was supposed to be, you'd be like, "This guy could be a villain." Yeah, potentially.
True.
But you like
and I do like his philosophy at the beginning because he's been raised in the family that's just been doing this longer than he's been alive, because he's several times abroad. It's like, my dad worked on the nuke, and he's just like, hey, the day world doesn't need weapons, I'll start doing something else. Until then.
I liked it, and I do like the way the movie did that. I think it's quite interesting, but at the same time, and I'll probably mention it later, I think it raises issues later on in the movie for me. It's big, yeah. But anyway, I think we'll probably save that for a bigger discussion.
We'll get there.
He even looks evil in the beginning. His hair's all slicked back. He looks like a Bond villain.
Oh yeah, I noticed that. I was like, oh, he's going for that look, is he?
Yeah.
Douche.
Greasy, oily.
Just general, absolute bad lad. Yeah, anyway. As you were.
Moving on.
Anyway, on more Tony Stark character building, we cut to the next day. He's basically abandoned his ding-dong sucking partner for the better pursuit of working on his hot rod downstairs. I mean, I guess she was working on his hot rod at some point as well. But...
Perfection.
But anyway, this is showing a different side of Tony, where, you know, not only is he this playboy, but he also is super clever and into mechanics and all that sort of thing. And he's not exactly the most socially astute person, I guess. Well, he's not a nice guy, I guess, is the summary of the story.
Playboy.
He lives for number one.
Yes. Yeah.
And we get introduced to Miss Pepper Potts.
True. We do. I forgot she was there, to be honest, but...
I only know because I'm scrolling through.
Miss Pepper Potts is there. We get a little bit of what their relationship is. She is his everything, I guess. She does his dry cleaning and sets his appointments and
Takes
all
out the
sorts of
trash,
stuff.
as she said. To the
Ooh,
ding-dong
catty.
woman. I like that. It was vicious.
It's such a good line.
It was, wasn't it?
But Pepper elucidates to Mr. Stark, "You're fucking late, mate. You're meant to be flying to Afghanistan. And you're still working on your stupid fucking hot rod." At which point, I like his line about private jets. He's like, "Hey, what's the point in owning a private jet if it leaves without me? I'm sure it'll wait."
We've missed out a character as well. We've got the introduction of Jarvis in this.
True, I guess technically, yeah.
Who
it was nice hearing old Jarvis again.
Who may be more something else later on, but I don't know. We're not getting into that now, are we?
Yeah, we're trying not to look too much at the future films whilst we do this.
Yeah.
I don't even know what you're talking about, to be honest.
Oh, well. We'll just have to see, won't we?
I'm going to skip ahead a little bit in the movie because we basically, everything from here until he does his weapons presentation is basically Tony Stark is a bit of a douche. Everything, like, we get introduced to, like, his major relationships, like Rhodes and whatnot. Oh, but just on a different note, I assume he hires strippers as air stewardesses on his private jet because they were down. They were down to just, like,
that's what
get
I
on
said
that
as
stripper
well.
pole.
Yeah, they were. I think they were strippers before stewardesses.
Yeah, I think the job criteria was: are you a stripper? Tick. Are you afraid of flying? No. Cool, you're in. Anyway, we get to Afghanistan, where Tony Stark is scheduled to be selling the US military a
Jericho missile.
A Jericho missile, which is a cluster head. To be honest, I didn't really understand what was so special about the Jericho missile compared to, like, other missiles, other than it's a big fucking missile. So,
I think it's more the literal, like, display. It's kind of like the shock and awe of the actual visual, because the weapon itself just seems to be like a normal kind of missile, but then the shockwave from it is huge.
Yeah, we can assume there's some sort of Starky technology in there, making it extra deadly towards insurgents.
It blows people up.
I like it. It was that Tony Stark cocky charm in his whole demonstration. I like. They say there's a weapon the best weapons are the ones you never need to fire. I disagree. It's the weapon you only need to fire once, and then his whole spiel about that's how America does it. It got me hard and wet downstairs.
Oh dear, wet.
I like explosions. Okay.
Spontaneous, apparently.
Yes.
The explosions in the hills, the explosion in my pants. That's how I like it.
And then he gets the flip phone out again and talks to Terrence Howard. Not Terrence Howard.
LG flip phone.
A topless Jeff Bridges, which I enjoyed.
Maybe that was Ben's exploding the pants.
That's what gets me hard and wet, I'll tell you what.
We never did learn why he wasn't wearing the pyjamas that Tony bought him, though.
It's because he hates him. That's why. Because he hates him so much, he's not going to wear those pyjamas. He's going to kill him instead. That's what he's going to do.
Jesus. But I thought he was a good guy.
No, what? Jeff Bridges? No, he's not. He's a bad man.
Well, you bet that. Carry on, Chris.
Anyway, we've caught up with the beginning of the movie now, and Tony Stark is a little bit out of it as he has various blurry-eyed surgeries as people insert things into his chest, and also he gets some sort of hostage messages being filmed. We'll learn what that says later.
At this point in time, we just assume it's kind of like a general message to America or something.
Yeah, something along those lines. I thought that was actually quite clever, to be honest, as like a... Because I assume they are saying in Arabic what they say later in the film.
Probably.
Oh, sorry.
It's kind of horrifying, his like initial like implant thing that he gets.
Yeah, they go hard on the body horror. Like if I like that, it's horrifying just waking up with new metal bits to your body.
Yeah.
Hooked up to a car battery.
Make do what you got, boys.
Mm-hmm.
That's the message and the moral of the story.
Because
that's when I stopped watching.
The moral of the story is, don't go to Afghanistan. It's horrible.
Yep, pretty much. People blow people up.
Anyway, Tony Stark, he's got a bit of shrapnel in his chest, and a very nice doctor man, who I can't remember the name for the life of me right now. Jensen has jerry-rigged an electromagnet to keep that shit from... Well, to be honest, I didn't quite understand the purpose of it, because I assumed the electromagnets to keep the shrapnel from going deeper. But why did he go into cardiac arrest every time it gets turned off?
That's the thing I don't get either.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. I guess they've just, like... later on, they're just like, oh, if he takes this thing out, he just dies. They just kind of forget that it's shrapnel. But then they don't. So, yeah, it's weird, that one.
They kind of treat it as like a power source for Tony later on, as opposed to... It's supposed to just keep him alive.
Yeah, because like...
for his new heart.
Because, like, in the comic books, it's like this thing that keeps him alive. So I guess they have to explain it like that. Without
it's really neither here nor there. It's a thing. I don't think it breaks the movie. It's just a little like detail. I was like, that's weird. I don't understand. Maybe medical professionals can explain that to me, but I didn't get it.
I just assumed that when it goes out, the shrapnel moves closer to his heart, but it seems a bit strange.
But anyway, he's dying, and he needs this car battery to survive. And the world's most cheerful terrorist comes in. And he's like, hey, Mr. Murderer, my best friend, we're gonna force you to make weapons for us.
I'm literally kind of watching this as you're saying it, and as you said that, the guy walked through with like his hands up, like, hey.
He was jovial.
He's the face man of the terrorist group.
He's PR.
This terrorist group seems to only have two notable faces in it, and they appear at all actions that these terrorists do. Whether it's invading a town or torturing a prisoner, they're always there.
It's a small group, but a happy group.
Very happy. Very happy. He's so happy that you just want his missiles, god damn it.
And I want him to do well. I was rooting for this guy, so I was very disappointed.
I do like the at the end of it when he's like showing them around the camp. He's like, "We have all the things you need. Here are all the weapons of yours we've collected. Just tell us what more you need, and we'll get it for you." And then he's like shakes his hand when he's like, "And after you've done that, we'll let you go." And he gives Tony a smile, and Tony's like, he's gonna kill me."
No, you won't. I love that bit. Why did they bother? I don't know what. I prefer this guy to the other terrorist guy who's just kind of boring.
Yeah, the other terrorist is boring and kind of generic. He's just moody. I don't know why we needed two of them, to be honest.
The bow and arrow was the most lethal weapon in the world until one day someone shot us. Or something.
I think that's kind of the idea, though, that they're kind of generic, that they were, as we find out later on, they are just like throwaway characters, because then Obadiah comes along later and just kills them off casually.
They don't have no consequence. Are they even terrorists, by the way? I can't remember. They're not terrorists, are they?
I don't. It's a bit vague. The part of the Ten Rings organization, which was them world building something later, which they completely just forget about later in later movies. So
it's a very like
I thought they
odd
were just
version
bad people
of the Ten Rings from the comic books. Like the Ten Rings are like this criminal
like
organization.
Yeah, they're a criminal super villain organization who's like one of like Iron Man's like primary adversaries.
Okay, alright, fair enough. Anyway. Inconsequential. Really.
Yeah, I'm just going to say this is. We'll talk about this blob of the movie in one. He makes an Iron Man suit while they think he's making a missile, and I've got several problems with the terrorists' approach here. If I kidnapped Elon Musk tomorrow and was like, put a gun to his head and said, "Build me a SpaceX rocket," I don't think Elon Musk is the one building those rockets. So, like, I get it that Tony Stark is a genius, blah, blah, blah. It works for the movie, but from, like, a bad guy plan perspective, if it worked in the real world, kidnapping CEO is not going to get you your missiles. I'm sorry.
I love the bit where they're watching him on, like, the camera, and he's literally got, like, a leg thing on, and they're like, what is he doing? That's not a missile.
That's what I was going to... Like, we keep coming back to the terrorists on this monitor, and they're like, well, no, maybe it could be upside down. And then we come back later, and he's literally got, like, hydraulic leg press on.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, maybe it's part of the missile.
That's my primary problem with this bit entirely, because it's like, they know they're being watched, so I feel like they'd be trying to work their way around that. And to be fair, they might have done it, just not, like, shown it, but I assumed that Tony would want to pretend he was working on a Jericho missile whilst doing this in the background.
Wearing it.
I mean, this is like one of my favorite films in the favorite things in the film is him just building stuff. Like, I could watch Tony Stark build things like all the time.
Oh, I love the compilation of him making the Iron Man suit stuff. But in terms of the situation he's in, it's like, this makes no sense. At least pretend to be making the missile, because you know you're being watched on CCTV.
To quote a later film, not a great plan. He just seemed like a hotbed of getting caught. Like, did they never inspect him? Like, he had like a whole week plus to be working on this thing.
Oh, but then he was like, you have 24 hours to build my missile, and then he made the helmet in like 2 minutes. So, without the helmet, it didn't look like anything, did it?
It just looked like a suit of armor without a helmet.
Yep.
How would they know? This rocket looks awfully humanoid. How strange. You'd think they would incorporate just a few scenes or a scene to kind of show him.
I mean, like, there's one bit where, like, you're not really like, where is he on the CCTV camera? Oh, he's just around the corner working on the missile, I guess. Like, they kind of worked it in, but at the same time, he literally was sat in front. Like, we know Tony knows about the CCTV, and he's literally just sat there using his hydraulic leg thingy in front of them. Like, okay, cool.
He's just
I don't know why you didn't get shot.
He's just working out. He's got to work them glutes. That's where they are,
Gotta
right?
get them squats in.
Yeah, exactly.
Glutes your ass.
He's got to keep up that physique that he's got for this. It's a good physique, by the way.
This is probably one of two major problems that I have with the film, but two major problems I can take.
What, squats?
No.
Tony Stark's physique.
It's Tony Stark's physique. You've got a problem with Tony Stark's physique. Are you fat shaming?
I don't remember him being fat.
He's not fat.
In fact, I remember him being quite muscly.
He is very muscly. He's not as muscly
when
as
you see him basically being a typical blacksmith, and it's like, dear God, look at him.
I tell you what, in that scene where he's building the helmet, he's got the vest on and he's sweating. I'm like, oh.
Ben, you've said so many things.
Anyway,
I don't have an issue. Like, really, none of this is major issues for me because it's kind of all inconsequential, to be honest. It's like it's one of those things where, okay, you think that they'd explain it in some way because they've addressed the problem. So you'd think they'd address the solution for the problem, but they don't. It's not a major thing for me, to be honest.
Well, the thing with me is, like, plot holes in general. Like, yes, it's maybe it's a plot hole, but it's so gosh darn entertaining. I'm not really asking the question while I'm watching it. I find it fun to pick plot holes apart all day long, but as long as I'm entertained, I'm generally pleased. You know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The only thing I don't like is when they actively suggest something as an issue. A good example, not this movie, but in Rise of the Skywalker, when they go to rescue a certain someone from a ship, and I'm like, surely someone would see them because there's cameras around, but I'm like, who gives a fuck? And then they shoot out the cameras in one of the rooms. It's like, well, now you've made it a thing. It's like, it wasn't an issue, but now you've made it an issue. So
True.
When the film actively brings up a thing, it's like, you need to do something with that.
Yeah, it's like...
What's it called? Chekhov's gun? Or something like that? Principle?
Yeah,
like if you mention that there's a gun in the scene, then that gun has to be used at some point, more than likely.
Oh, this is actually a principle? Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's a screenwriting
storytelling.
Huh.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, there you go. See, this is inconsequential to me, but don't make it an issue if you're just going to not address the issue at all.
It's not like it always breaks the film or anything, but it's just a case of it's good practice.
Yeah, of course. Like, this is like it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't spoil the movie or anything ridiculous like that. It's a very, very small thing, but like you say, don't address it. So yeah, none of it is a major issue for me.
Can we talk about the escape scene and how amazing it is and how I love it?
I was literally just about to get into that because
say.
he's built an Iron Man suit and now it's time to shoot some folk. Well, burn them to death, I assume.
Oh my god.
Mostly punch, to be fair.
Oh my god, he wrecks these fools. It's so good.
After Jensen gives his life, because he has to wait for whatever that initial power-up sequence is on the computer. So he's like, shit. And they've already tried to get into the room. And, they put a bomb on the door, which, to be fair, good procedure when you're in the time limit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he just, like, they blow the doors off, and then he comes out, and he's just punching fools. That guy, he gets his arm stuck in the wall, and the guy tries to shoot him in the head. And then the bullet
I like it when it goes, like, kind of horror for a second. It's like the terrorists are retreating, and then they close the door, and, like, one who's, like, banging on the door, and then you just cut to the other side of the door, and you just hear the guy yelling, and then he just goes quiet, and then you just have the slow punching through the door, and it's like, holy shit.
It's amazing. I don't know how he, like, hides at all, because he's literally got a bright light on his chest. But
It's the Splinter Cell method.
Yeah.
The bright light doesn't matter. As long as you're in the darkness.
It's a great introduction for the suit, though.
My favourite part of this whole action scene is the clunkiest part that makes me laugh. It's when he goes right round the corner and there's a terrorist guy with grenade launcher. He fires and then, he misses. Then Iron Man looks at him and is like, what the fuck? Takes, 10 seconds to start his, arm rocket launcher and fires. Terrorist man should have been hightailing it out of there. Like, nobody's business.
Yeah.
oh,
I enjoy that. That bit gets, an out loud laugh from me. Like, this is a bit clunky.
That and I'm a bit like, how... Well, first of all, how did Terrorist Man miss? It's like, look at your target. You're targeting a tank. How did you miss?
Convenient.
Like, yes, the other guy went, look out, but it's like, you're still aiming at a tank, and all Tony does is, rotate slightly to the right. It's not like he dives out the way.
it's just like how,
on the force field.
Like how he's, clunking about, and it's got these, mechanical noises, and it's, such a good thing in the whole film with that. And I think it's something the Iron Man, the suits... lose
that, and I
on.
bet I was gonna say that, and I bet people who've seen the original comic, because one of the few things I do know about Iron Man is that his first Iron Man suit basically does look like that as well.
Yeah, it's great. It's so well done.
It really conveys the message that it's powerful, but also it's been cobbled together. So it was a really good introduction for me.
Oh, it's a great sequence in general. I like the bit where he comes out into the desert and the terrorists all shoot, and then they run out of ammo. It's my turn, and then burns the place down. Nobody's left without second-degree burns.
It's quite horrific.
I also like how the Iron Man suit takes off like a rocket. Basically, it lacks the grace and elegance of the later Iron Man suits.
I mean, to be fair, every time I saw the Iron Man suit take flight, I was like, that definitely looks like a missile. The military should be shitting themselves.
There you go.
Or at least the civilian populace as well. They'd be like, what the fuck? Why is there a missile going off?
That's how they... See? You're just like the terrorists. That's how they thought it was a missile. Oh, it does look like a missile.
Maybe they've never seen a missile up close. Maybe missiles are man-shaped.
Yeah. Missiles do have arms and legs.
The only time they've seen a missile up close is when it's blown them up. No survivors from that one.
You don't get too long to look at it.
Hey,
But anyway...
This is an awesome escape sequence with just Iron Man being invincible. Unfortunately, no bullets going through the two eye holes.
Yeah,
or his leather gloves.
All the little gaps in it.
It doesn't make sense, but it's a superhero film. It gets that suspension of disbelief because it's just pure fucking awesome.
Anyway, the next scene kind of proves to me that Tony didn't really have an out for this, because he jets off, just lands in the desert. Now, this is the point where I'd die. I mean, I'd have died a long time ago because I can't engineer a missile or a suit. But at this point, he's just wandering through the desert. No water, no idea what direction he's going in. And somehow, the US military just finds him. I guess they were just, circling the area.
They were pretty close, Yeah, it's very convenient, but...
It's nothing breaking for me. I like to point out little details like that every now and again. Anyway, we are back in the US now, and they want him to go to hospital a lot. But he's like, fuck no, I want Burger King. Very specifically, Burger King. I want it.
He wants that sponsor money. But more importantly, he's had a change of heart, and he wants to shut everything down.
Joker's been inside his palace, stolen his distorted desires, and now he's had that change of heart.
And this is where
What?
Persona.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
some anime shit.
Some weeb shit.
This is where probably one of my major sort of issues with the movie come in, and it's kind of the transition, right? Because clearly Tony Stark's a genius, right? He's been established to be a genius. He can make a suit of armor out of nothing, pretty much.
It's a little arc reactor.
All this stuff. So he's very smart, and the movie is in this scene where he goes and he says, "You know what? My weapons have been used for all this, and I don't like it. And we're gonna have a review. We're gonna shut everything down because it's immoral. Damn it!" It paints him as this guy. He's one, really intelligent, has got a heart of gold, under all his douchey persona. But he must be super naive. Like, you can't be that sort of person and also sell weapons.
I mean, I think the idea is that he thought, like, he was very much about America first. He was like, I'm selling it to the American military. I think what it is that the terrorists had his weapons. Not so much that people had his weapons, it's more, what, we're selling to terrorists as well?
Yeah, but that's my point. Like, you've got to be insanely naive.
I mean, I don't know how he, like, yeah, he sells his weapons to certain people, but, like, there is a black market. Your weapons, like, I don't know why he instantly leaps to, like, my company's selling the terrorists the weapons and not they somehow bought them from some other method.
It was that, and it was
the reporter that brought up the. Oh, actually, no, never mind. What am I on about? Yeah, that still is a bit of a jump of conclusion.
I think it was Yinsen, really. Yinsen,
yeah, but like
sacrifices himself, and he's like, "Don't waste your life," and he's like, "Wait, what the hell have I been doing for 30 years? Like, this is monstrous." So like, and then he goes down this path.
It's fair, but it's just something I love the fact he was portrayed as a bit of an arse and all that at the beginning. It's the transition to that I don't entirely buy. That
you like him afterwards, you like him before, but you think he flipped a bit too quick.
It's more like you can't just go to be the heart of gold boy because you know irregardless of what your weapons are or aren't being used for, you know that you can't be naive to think that we're just using it for good or America. Like you can't be that naive, and especially someone who's this intelligent and this good. So
with me on the flip, there's a point in the movie where he acts very un-Tony Stark and like there's a bit where he's arguing with Pepper or something. He's like, "There's nothing but the mission. I am the mission now." I'm like, what the fuck are you on about?
Very weird. I was like, you sound like you've been a part of the Avengers for years already. What?
But it's like this is the part. This is what happens with Tony though. Actually, no, we're not talking beyond this film. So
no.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, it is a bit like that scene with Pepper. I do agree. It's like, hang on, man. This is
in this film. It's a bit weird.
Yes.
I buy it. I do buy it completely, apart from maybe that little scene with Pepper. So I don't know.
Oh, I buy his transition because it's there's a bit of naivete playing into it there, especially with how intelligent he's been established. It's like that's a bit weird, but at the same time, there is a very big difference between being sat at home in America selling the weapons / making the weapons, and then actually experiencing it first fucking hand.
Yeah.
You very easily believe that'll change a man very quickly.
I could believe it would change him, but at the same time, like I don't know, he seems like he's doing it after because he's a great person. He's like, oh well, this is not what our intention was, but like you can't believe that this was never going to happen beforehand. That's just one of my things for the movie, but yeah, I didn't buy it.
Just because it can / does happen doesn't mean he thinks it should happen though.
Yeah, but I'd put that up to some being very naive, especially for someone in his position, with his sort of credentials as they've been established. But it doesn't completely ruin the movie. It's one of the more pressing issues I had with it. If we were to have a big discussion about it.
Which we are having.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
There we go.
Yeah, I felt it was one thing I noted.
It's fair enough. I agree with you to a certain extent. I think. Yeah. Maybe it's for me. Maybe the flip happened a bit too quick, and maybe Maybe it should have been like he knew that the weapons were going into wrong hands before, but didn't care. But when he got blown up and he saw the results of it, but it didn't.
After like spending time with some American military on the front as well.
Yeah.
It wasn't really portrayed that way as well.
And then,
yeah.
And then watching that American military get murdered.
Because I really do like that opening scene where it's just like it's kind of, again, it's that thing of this first film being very grounded, and like that first scene being very human as well, with just like him getting to know the soldiers very briefly, and then it's very quickly establishing a rapport with them, and all of a sudden they're dead, and it's like, oh, I likes them.
Yeah, but like I do agree with you. It's just he's a guy who's very nonchalant about it and doesn't really care. He plays by our world. He's like, he does these things. He just brushes them off, and he's like, yeah, this is this. Buy 100 million of these and whatever. On your way, give me money. I don't care. And then all of a sudden he's like cares about everything and is trying to fix everything, and it's a very
that's what happens to him though. Like his guilt overcomes him, and that's what.
But
I don't want to talk about later. I keep talking about later down the line. Doesn't matter. But like his
I
guilt...
get that, but maybe if they showed something before that, for me, where maybe he was like, he had some sort of guilt, or he had some sort of thought about, are we doing it, or are we, he just brushes everything off like, I don't give a fuck. We're doing the good thing. I don't give a fuck. That's just my personal sort of.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Where were we up to? I've forgotten where in the plot.
Press conference.
Press conference where he shuts down the weapons division.
I really want Burger King now as well. For fuck's sake, Tony.
I was
had
really
Burger King in months.
I was really hungry when I was watching this earlier, and he doesn't actually say Burger King. I want an American burger, but when he gets it, it's very clearly Burger King.
It's in a Burger King bag, yeah.
Very clearly Burger King. I was like, I want that Burger King now.
Damn this quarantine! I haven't had a bacon double cheeseburger XL from Burger King for months now.
You have my order, good sir. That's what I get from Burger King as well.
Mm-hmm. It's the best burger.
But yeah, he shuts down the weapons division, and everyone freaks out after having a little sit down with them while he's eating his burger. And I can't remember the exact order of events here, because this is the part of the movie where it's not that it's not entertaining, it just loses me a little bit on exactly the exact order of where things happened. At some points, him and Obadiah are talking about the arc reactor that he built, and I can't remember when he told anyone about that, but apparently he told them.
I think Rhodey saw it. I told Rhodey about it, and then Rhodey told Stain. That's the next scene, by the way.
Bloody
It is,
Oh,
yeah.
cool. I got the order right.
Yeah,
then.
you did it. Yeah, nailed it.
Yeah, and that Obadiah, he just really wants he really wants to know what's next, Tony. What did you do? What have you got to go? Nothing suspicious about that.
We're ironmongers, Tony. He said it. He said his name.
Does he actually say that?
Yeah, he says we're ironmongers. So he says his name.
Yeah, for those who that's the name of the villain in the suit at the end. He's called Ironmonger.
They never say it. That's never really said in the film.
No.
They never say it outside of that, but there
It's
you
just
go.
Obadiah.
Somewhere in here, S.H.I.E.L.D. is trying to get to talk to Tony. I don't know why S.H.I.E.L.D. specifically wants to talk to Tony about all this, but...
That was at the conference, yeah.
yeah, S.H.I.E.L.D. is after Tony, but they
want to talk to
I
him
think
about
you mean
how he got
Strategic
out, right?
Homeland and Intelligence.
Yeah, they want to talk about how he got out, but I don't really know how that's S.H.I.E.L.D.'s business or not, say, the FBI's business or the CIA's business or whoever's business.
I guess
The only
S.H.I.E.L.D.
reason I could assume... Sorry, go on, Ben.
No, I was going to say S.H.I.E.L.D. deals with like superheroes and stuff like that, but I don't know how at any point... I don't know how at what point they would have realised that this guy got out by being a superhero.
I was going to say, the only reason S.H.I.E.L.D. should technically be involved is like if they somehow saw/knew about his Iron Man suit on his escape, but obviously at this point no one technically knows.
Maybe
So,
they
it
just
is a
check
bit
everywhere.
weird.
I mean, this is future spoilers, but S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't technically just superheroes, they're just, like, general, like, counterintelligence, because in later films you see them do things that aren't superhero-related. But, like, what I've always wondered is what is their role compared to the CIA or FBI? What does S.H.I.E.L.D. do, specifically? But I don't know why they'd want to talk... Anyway, doesn't matter. S.H.I.E.L.D. is after him, because I guess they want him to be an Avenger or some such. You guys are going to have to help me out a bit here, because I've completely lost track of what happens
Then we
next.
cut to like a very weird news report that Pepper's watching about Stark Industries stock going down, and we have the little operation scene
That's a weapons company that no longer makes weapons.
as he smashes a mug.
Shit.
And then they have that scene where Pepper reaches into his chest in a very, very good effect. I don't know how they did that. It looks amazing.
I can't remember. I remember seeing the making for it like years ago, and it's very interesting. But no, it is a damn good effect.
Yeah. He's really trusting of Pepper and her tiny hands. I like his back and forth about it being like, oh, it's like Operation, just don't touch that. I'm like, how about you get somebody who knows medicine to help you at all here?
How about you just make a very precise robot? That would seem like something he would do.
Well, get that robot hand to do it.
He has got robots, but apparently they're useless.
Yeah.
I do love those test sequences. Like, if you spray me while I'm not on fire, I'm donating you to the university.
That's what we'll talk about next, because that's pretty much what this section of the movie is about until he goes to Afghanistan
There's
again.
a brief section where he goes to talk to... Is it Rhodes?
Yeah, he goes to talk to Rhodes, and this is something I never realised this in the past, that he basically asks him to be Iron Man.
Yeah, he's basically like, I want you to test these out.
And I'd never realised that before, and then and then Rhodey's like, no, you're an idiot. Go home, stupid man.
Prelude for War Machine.
Yeah.
I like how Rhodes is probably like, he might have PTSD, he's just come back from get out of here, go home. I don't want to talk to you about your weapons testing.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus, Rhodes,
So,
be a bit more considerate of your friend.
Can we just bring this up now? Obviously, we don't need to technically address future films, but this is technically a future film question. So what do we think of the actor for Rhodes?
I can't
obviously
imagine
he never comes
as
back
War
after
Machine
this.
now, having had...
It's like almost an unfair comparison, because Don Cheadle's done it for so long now. Like, I
Yeah.
can't imagine this guy doing it.
As I recall, the thing with him was, after this film, he was like, I want more money to come back, so they just went, nah. And it's like, if you'd stuck with it, you would have made so much money.
I bet he's very bitter now.
Yeah.
Oh, just a tad.
It's probably
Don't
like, I
get me
hate
wrong.
Iron Man. I thought he was
I feel like it's the thing with like the Witcher guy, the author of The Witcher, the games. It's like, why did I make that deal? Why didn't I just stick with it?
Yeah, you would be massively kicking yourself, but
you dicked yourself out of a really good deal.
yeah, I mean at the end of the day, it's kind of a strange.
But in terms of
decision.
how he did in
he's
this,
fine.
I was gonna say in terms of how he did in this film alone, because he seems all right at it.
He's fine.
I think he did really well.
He did well. Everyone in this film, I don't know. It's all about Tony Stark at the end of the day, but everyone else.
I mean,
is
they
good.
all bring their A game,
Yeah, they're all
or at
good.
least B game.
Okay, no, sorry.
Jeff
I just wanted to bring that up because this is the only time we're going to bring up this actor before we never see him again. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to lump testing just into one like lump here of the Iron Man suit being built and being tested, because it's kind of all the same in my mind, and it's fucking cool.
Apart from one interruption with Obadiah, that's a good chunk of the movie now.
Yeah, Obadiah's doing some scheming in the background somewhere. We'll deal with testing, and then I'll talk about Obadiah, and then pretty much right at the end of the movie. Then, well, we've got the action sequence at the end when everything goes to shit. Because it feels really slow in this section, and then you get to the end, and it's like, okay, right, 1,000 miles per hour, we're going.
Pretty much.
But yeah, what do you guys think of the testing sequences? When he first suits up and they like do the pan around him with the music.
God.
Let's just say those pants explosions. They're
It's
just
amazing.
happened again.
That first flight, I was like 12 when I saw this. I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen
That doesn't
in my
surprise
life.
me.
And then the second
Did you
scene
notice-
comes along later on, and that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen.
I know it's not technically that specific jet, but did you notice how I was just like, what's the record for flying high? when it was the X-Men jet.
Yeah, the
That was-
Blackbird. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I was just like, oh, cool detail. I like that.
It was a very Tony thing to do, that he goes straight for the altitude record on his first flight. It's very cool.
Top lad. It was a very cool. The whole scene was. It looked damn special.
I think that this whole the whole sequence of him first out in the Iron Man suit is what makes this film for me. To be honest, with Iron Man, it's not my favorite. It's nowhere close to being my favorite Marvel movie, but like I find that most of the film like good. But this one sequence is what really sold me on the film.
Yeah, it's this sequence, it's the escape sequence, this sequence, and his first like introduction as like Iron Man properly, the red and gold.
That was very cool.
Yeah.
Those are like incredible bits, and then
Oh yeah, I forgot about the bit where he takes out the tank and shit. Yeah, no, that's also great. That sold me too.
I love the initial testing phase with the comedy with the useless robot arms, and then him like flinging himself up into the fucking ceiling, and I was just like dead.
I'm with you. I enjoyed all the nonsense with the little spray can things and whatnot.
And like seeing him achieve his first flight on like, what was it, 2% power or something, I was like, this is satisfying. This is good.
Awesome.
I liked seeing all the knockbacks and the fails and all the stuff with cobbling together the suit. I thought it was a really good way to do it.
Yeah. It's my favorite part of the movie is just him making the suit and then flying the suit for the first time. But moving on, at some point he goes to a gala that he's not invited to.
And our first Stan Lee cameo.
It's true. Fuck it, let's introduce a new segment. A segment inside of a segment. It's the Stan Lee cameos ranked. This is number 1, obviously. But what do you guys think of Stan Lee and his Hugh Hefner joke?
It's amusing because he looks a bit like him.
Is that what it was? I watched the beginning of it today, the movie, because I watched the actual movie a couple of weeks ago, just by chance. So I can't remember all the details. What was he? He was at the party, wasn't he?
It was basically a Playboy joke.
Was he actually supposed to be Hugh Hefner?
Yeah.
He was not actually supposed to be the guy, but you know.
Oh no, wait. Did Tony mistake him for Hugh Hefner? Is that the joke?
Yes.
Right.
The randy old man.
I mean, to be fair, considering it's the first film, and technically we don't at this point know that there's a whole cinematic universe coming. We don't supposedly know this is a Stan Lee cameo. Actually, no, he did Stan Lee cameos before this, though, didn't he?
Yeah, in Spider-Man and Fantastic Four.
So I guess at this point you're supposed to know it's an ongoing joke. But yeah, the joke is he gets mistaken for Hugh Hefner.
I think it's a fun moment. Well, obviously this list of Stan Lee cameos will grow in the future, but it was fun.
We're also going to do Iron Man suit-ups ranked, aren't we?
True.
But we haven't done one, I guess. So that's number 1.
I mean, I guess we get 3 in this movie. There's when he turns into like nuts and bolts Iron Man in the cave.
Yeah.
Then there's
Silver Iron Man.
Then there's Silver Iron Man, and then there's also like Red and Gold Iron Man.
I mean, that's the best one.
Yeah, that's the best suit up. But I really do enjoy that slow pan around Silver Iron Man.
Oh, that's so good.
I feel like the Silver one might be my favorite one, just because it's the very first success with the sleek design as well.
To be fair, you do have a point.
With the Red and Gold one, it's when it's his face looking all super serious, and then the Iron Man helmet goes down on it, and I'm like, oh shit, man, he's gonna go fuck some fools up.
20 watts.
I do love that whole sequence.
We'll get to that later because we're
nearly
love
there.
that scene.
Anyway, I'm going to speed up the pace a little bit more, mostly because we're kind of in the last stretch of like major plot details, because a lot of it's like action from this point on. He learns at the party from his penis sucking friend about the weapons that his company is selling to terrorists in the Middle East.
I quite like that bit where he like goes to see her name and she's like, no, it's Christina, and he's like, yes, that's what it was. I remember you.
Like, what are you feeling right now? Panic. What I'm feeling. I mean, there's also a Pepper moment in there, their blossoming romance or whatever. But who cares about that? Because we're about to go blow up some tanks, baby.
I like the way he just ditches her, by the way. And it kind of gets brought up, but she doesn't really give a shit.
It gets brought up right at the end of the film.
It's more for a joke.
Yeah, I mean, it gets brought up, but unrealistic, that's what I say. Should be fuming.
I mean, yeah.
Like, fuck you, I ain't speaking to you.
But anyway, sorry.
I'm sorry, I feel like he's kind of done this sort of thing a lot to her, and she's just kind of used to it.
So we're saying he's some sort of emotional abuser.
He's basically a dick, is what I'm trying to say.
It's also implied he's kind of destroyed her social life. She's like, "You're all I've got, Tony."
Yeah.
It's like you've trapped this woman in an abusive relationship.
He's not a good guy.
But he's got a heart of gold.
He's not a good guy.
But he's got a heart of gold.
Anyway,
so after the ball.
Anyway, he's pissed. He's pissed that Obadiah, because he goes to Obadiah. Obadiah's like, yeah, whatever, Tony. We sell weapons. It's what we do, bitch.
Obviously, how could you be so naive, Tony? None of this.
And then he's like, oh yeah, also I'm the one who voted to kick you out the board, or whatever it was.
I love the scene where he's got the gauntlet on and he's watching the news thing and he's like, "Is anyone gonna come save these people?" It's a little
It's
bit.
a very
off-color.
unprofessional, like, BBC News broadcast. Like, they're just dying. Look at this old woman. She's lost all her family. Oh, the humanity. Will someone not come?
Someone in a suit not come and save her.
We need some kind of man.
I'd love so hard if
an Iron Man.
I'd love so hard if after that plea, just like Tony turns up and all of a sudden the British Army's just there. And it's just like, oh, the British government responded to my call. I wasn't expecting that.
Oh, I actually on the news report.
You're early, Iron Gentleman.
Sorry. On the news report, it literally zooms in on like the main bad terrorist's face.
Yeah, like, where are these BBC News cameras? They're just like there in the middle of all of these massacres, just zooming in on the key players' faces. And like main terrorist guy like gives them like a "oh, you dastardly reporters, there's nothing I can do about you" sort of look.
So
I'm a
funny.
terrorist. I respect international reporting law.
Hey, those BBC reporters, man, they get themselves in the thick of it.
They do, but I feel like if your camera's that close to the main bad guy, he'd be like, shoot them.
No, obviously. It's very silly.
It's one of those things that like, they needed to get information over to us. All the bad guys we know are in this village and they're fucking shit up. But it's like, do it, news report.
Yes. How do we get Tony back on track?
Where randomly all of their faces are in this one BBC News report.
I don't know how they came up that came up with that repulsor sound, but it's just the best sound. It's so cool.
It is awesome.
Is
his hand cannon.
It sounds just like goddamn when you switch night vision on as Splinter Cell.
It does,
Again,
actually.
this goddamn movie just takes everything from Splinter Cell. I've said it now. Every time it happens, I'm like, "It's Fisher. He's here. Where is he?" I'm like, "Oh, it's the exact same sound."
On a slightly different note, there's some beeps, like when he first turns on his silver Iron Man suit and it's like locating all the cars, it makes beeps, and for a second I was like, do I have Steam messages? What's happening?
They just got a bunch of sound clips from... Someone was a gamer and they were just playing one night and like, we're playing Splinter Cell on Steam, and they're like, I need to get some sound effects going here.
I mean, if you're gonna get anyone to do sound design stuff on an Iron Man film, a nerd is the person to go for.
I don't know if we've actually mentioned the soundtrack yet, but it's the same guy who did the music for Game of Thrones. It's
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
I don't know how to say his name.
The guy you can't pronounce.
Ramin
Yeah.
Djawadi or something. But like,
know.
yeah, the music in this film is great.
It's one of those things I don't think Marvel films do that great for the most part. Outside of Avengers films, there's no like
Yeah, it's like the Avengers theme and what else?
yeah, there's no like super standouts. But this one, and also future spoilers, I think Iron Man 3 has a good one too. But
Spider-Man does, but that's because they had themes before anyway.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that. I was gonna mention the music and the soundtracks in this movie. Top class.
but anyway,
After all that, we get another awesome Iron Man sequence.
I know Tony's pissed and he's going to
love
kill
this whole sequence.
everyone.
This one's actually really cool.
This
I'll
is
give
the
them
best scene in the film. It's the best
I-
scene in nearly
It's
all
all
of it.
agree.
See, there's two parts of the sequence, and I can't decide which one's my favourite. I honestly just love the utter confusion of the US military afterwards. I love that scene, I think, a bit more. But I do love the badassness of this.
Like top to bottom, it's a great sequence. Everything from like he turns up and the terrorists are like freaking out, and he just uses this little his arm rocket thing to like just pinpoint all of them. What I will say, later Iron Man movies kind of nail him using the repulsor. It looked a bit clunky, but it's like he has to charge up his repulsor and like do like rah, like a big like over the top move to use it in this one. But it's still cool.
It's damn cool, and it really establishes Iron Man as a bit of a bad lad. He just dispatches all these guys with like such ease.
It's unstoppable to like.
And literally no evasion on his part. He's just like, they're shooting at me. I should probably try and preserve the armor. Nah, just gonna walk through the bullets.
And then he punches through a wall and drags a man through a wall, breaking every bone in his body.
In a very Batman-esque scene.
Yeah, I thought of that as soon as he did it. I was like, Batman.
Seriously,
Plus, I love
there's
the
a
moment
sequence
afterwards.
in the Dark Knight Returns comic book, I think that's what it's called, where Batman literally reaches through a wall and grabs a guy with a machine gun. I'm like, you've been reading your comic books, movie makers.
I was like, this is how Batman normally kills people.
And then we get the only use in the MCU of an Iron Man voice. That's not his voice.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
When he goes, he's all yours.
He's all yours. It's the coolest thing, and I wish they did it again in any other film. But after that, it's like, I'm Tony Stark. Whoop-a-doop-a-doo.
I love how harsh that is as well, because you got to think that terrorist guy is fucked.
I like to imagine they gave him a cup of tea, bandaged up his wounds.
No.
It's alright,
And
man.
then
It's tough times for everyone.
But no, yeah. Then we get the second half of it, which might be my favourite part. Like, I love the badasses of the first part, but I just love the absolute confusion of the US military being like, who just blew that up? What's going on? Why is there a missile flying out of there? What is it?
Thing is that the movie does actually have a lot of beats from, but you wouldn't be too surprised to think if someone said it was a Marvel movie, because it's got the action stuff, and then it has these like quirky moments. This like where he calls him and he's in there and he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm driving," and all this stuff. It's got these weird sort of like jovial moments that come straight out of Marvel.
It's very much set up right from the beginning, the Marvel formula that just that works.
Really is. They toned it down a bit in some places, like the old the shagging and whatnot, and the sexist plays. But you know, there's a lot in there which takes from it.
No, they nailed a lot of it just straight away with this, which is why it all works so well, is because of this film and because
which is
of, like,
why
Robert
they
Downey Jr.
repeat the formula over and over again, and it's really good.
I mean, they've changed it a lot. I mean, it's not always. Sometimes it's very. It is.
We'll get there in the
I was
future.
gonna say, this is...
Future films.
We'll get there.
Future films.
Carry on.
Anyway, as we mentioned, the US military is very confused by this unmanned aerial drone, as they put it, going in there and just fucking everybody's day up. And they attempt to shoot him down with jets. What I like about this sequence as well is that it's not like Iron Man. Iron Man, in an attempt to rescue the US, keep the US military from getting harmed, accidentally just fucks them up. It's just like, he grabs onto the bottom of the plane, he's like, please call them off, I don't want to do that, and then actually just takes an F-16 out on his way out. It's just a fun sequence, top to bottom.
It's the fact that it's like completely by accident as well, because the F-16 he's holding on to, F-22, is that shakes him off, and then he just accidentally flaps into the other one's wings. And he's like, shit, get a shoot.
It does quite show how what he did previously was quite impulsive, and he's not quite got this thing down yet, and it's quite a good way of conveying that, I think.
Also, this is another one of those like nitpick moments, right? This is the beginning of the sequence. He's like, I'm pissed. I'm going to fly to the Middle East and solve this all out. I just like to imagine like on hour 15 of his flight over from Malibu, he's like, I just really need to piss right now. I can't get out of this suit.
I was thinking about that. How long would it take him to get there? He's going supersonic, presumably, which is fast, but I don't know how fast.
It's fast, but it's not fast enough to get there in like hours. It would be hours, but it'd be like, I don't know, like upwards of 9.
For America, that's literally the opposite side of the planet.
Yeah.
It's easier for us because we're closer, but no, America, it's gonna take a while. But at supersonic speeds, I imagine it could be quite quick because
he can actually go to the toilet in the suit, as established in Iron Man 2.
Could he do it in this suit?
I don't know.
I doubt it.
Don't know. Ask him.
Somewhere over Spain, it's raining right now.
There's a fine mist in there.
You got to keep in mind that actual commercial jets don't actually go at supersonic speeds. They don't actually go all that fast compared to how fast we know aircraft can go.
Oh no, obviously it'll go much faster, but it'd still take.
It'll still take hours.
A hefty chunk of time to get there.
Unless he's got to focus the whole damn time. Can't imagine there's autopilot. Is there autopilot or anything like that?
Yeah.
There is in
Maybe
later
later
films.
What if he just falls asleep for a second? He'll go like careening into the ground.
I feel like Jarvis would be like, wake up!
So he's done all this. I can't really remember what happens next when he gets back from his jaunt.
Let's have a look. Pepper sees him in the suits, trying to get out of it, and is like, the fuck is going on?
That's a good
Doesn't
joke.
she quit?
It's a good joke when he says, "This is not the worst thing you've caught me doing."
No, that's later on, Joe. That's
and I
later
don't
on.
know if he doesn't. She doesn't quite quit. She doesn't quit. I don't think.
No, it's later on when he's like, I need you to hack the company, and she's like, I quit, and then he's like, I really need to. It's like, okay.
Well, okay then.
It's not that simple, but I'm just summing it up. We cut to Pepper being like, the fuck, and then afterwards we then get the scene with It's not Jebediah. Obadiah.
Jebediah!
Jebediah.
Obadiah and
Meeting
Jebediah!
with the terrorists in the Middle East, and then using the thing that I feel like should come back in future films. You have a device that can paralyze people at will.
Very overpowered. I'd be shitting myself to use it, even with those little earplug things in.
Stark technology. Maybe Ultron should have used it. Wait, we haven't watched that yet. Damn it.
No. But no, yeah. So we get Obadiah meeting with the terrorists and seeing the Iron Man suit. And then killing all the terrorists.
You mean he's a bad guy? We never would have guessed that Obadiah Stane.
Obadiah.
Obadiah. Old Obadiah. Old Obadiah is a bad guy. I would never guess that
Obadiah
one.
because I know that's a name. I've never heard the name Obadiah apart from this one fucking film.
Have we got any other mispronunciations of Obadiah? Kind of Obadiah? Obadoa? Obadua?
Obadiah.
Obadiah.
Anyway, it's a dub name. Sorry, anyone called Obadiah. But there you
Just
go.
on a side note, I really like Obadiah Stane. He's
Yeah,
nothing
me too.
special
Great.
he's nothing special as far as villains go, and he like loses his sanity in a few minutes time. But like, that bit where he's like talking to his radio, Tony Stark built us in a cave with a box of scraps. Like
I'm
that.
not Tony Stark.
I just love that sequence. I love Obadiah Stane.
I'm with you. I 100% really like him up until he goes fucking nuts. But
Yeah, up until he just goes, I'll casually kill civilians now.
yeah,
I'll kill these federal agents who are trying to arrest me.
yeah.
I don't...
I'll still hold my position and get tons of money in my company. It's fine.
Like, he's honestly a decent villain up until he just randomly does that.
No, I really liked him as a villain. I think he does a really good job.
Yeah, I think
yeah.
he's probably... He might be the best. I don't know, I said he's best Iron Man
That's going a
villain.
bit far.
They're all weak.
Yeah, they are terrible.
I wouldn't know because I don't remember 2 and I never saw 3, so I'm looking forward to watching those.
Two has some moments. Anyway, fuck it, that's the future. We're not in the future, we're in the present. In fact, we're in the past. It's 2008, baby. Let's go.
After he wipes out the terrorist cell, that's when we get the scene with Tony and Pepper being like, Tony going, hey, I need you to hack the company. Pepper goes, no, I quit. This is stupid. And then I can't remember what he says because I've got the film on mute here. But he says something and then Pepper's like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. And then we get that sequence.
It's about the time where Pepper goes to hack the company, which is a great Obadiah Stane sequence, I might add. That's about where the movie is like, okay, right, 5th gear, let's go. It's like, okay, she hacks that, then she realizes Obadiah's up to something. Obadiah wants to kill her, and then she goes against the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, and then we're in the final action sequence, basically. While he tries and kills Tony in the background.
After the he built this in a cave
With a box of scraps!
What was Obadiah... Oh god, I love that scene. I love his tie like flips up around his head as well. It's just really funny.
So pissed.
Fucking love Obadiah, man.
Was he gonna?
What was your question?
Was he gonna kill Pepper? Right there and then. If he'd,
You have to assume so. What was he going to do?
I don't know. Was he just gonna strangle her there and then in the office with like a massive window? I don't know. It makes me laugh.
Well,
at that point, he wasn't certain because he said later on, "It's like he didn't want to kill Pepper, but it's after he saw her hacking into the system. He's like, well, she's involved. She needs to die."
Yeah, he was like he was suspicious, wasn't he? But he checked after she left, and did it say something like that?
And then he went.
It said download complete, so he was like, shit.
Then he went to chase her, and he just like ominously watched her from the stairs as she leaves with Agent Coulson.
Like that. I like that bit of Agent Coulson saying, "We had an appointment, so I hope you remembered." And she's like, "Yep, no, we're having it right now. You come with me. Come on, we'll go.
It's at this point where they go and get the agents, and she goes outside. She's like, "I know a shortcut to get to the arc reactor. We're going to go there. We're going to arrest him, right?" But somehow he gets there first, despite taking detours.
He had a shorter shortcut.
He had a shorter shortcut, apparently.
What you don't realise, Chris, is that Stark also built the teleporter, and he had one in his house that links to the arc reactor. So,
you see, what he did, he went into his other office, quickly jumped in the Ironmonger suit, flew at supersonic speeds over the city of LA, Malibu. I don't know if those are two separate things.
City is. I assume this is New York.
I think it's LA.
No, it's in Tony Stark lives in Malibu, which is near LA, but I don't know if that is LA. So.
Oh, I just assume New York because Avengers and Stark Tower, but
actually, I don't know where it is.
I mean, I'm
just trusting that Chris is correct.
I'm assuming it's near his Malibu home because that's the place in all the Iron Man films where shit happens. But at any rate, I've lost where I'm at, to be perfectly honest. I was like, I'll move up the conversation on, and then I couldn't.
Obadiah goes to kill Tony, and then
Yeah.
and then the agent stuff with Pepper happens.
It's also another great moment where he tries to kill Tony, because Obadiah's just fun.
Yeah, he just takes that and is like, oh, my boy.
See, Tony, when I ordered that hit on you.
Yeah, one last golden egg.
This
I
is
wish you could have seen my suit, Tony. It's a bit more than yours.
This is your Beethoven's fifth. It's amazing.
He built her in a cave!
There's
With a box of scraps!
There's one more bit I laughed at, but that's just because what we know from the future films, where Rhodes comes and saves Tony's life, and then he looks at the silver Iron Man suit and goes, next time, and it's like, no.
Next time, baby. No.
Not for you, baby.
And he gets in the car. He steals his car. Steals it. The Audi R8. Just nicks it.
Gotta get that Audi sponsor money.
I mean, I'll take an Audi R8.
I mean, if I was Tony Stark, I'd probably be driving something a bit more than an Audi R8, like.
Yeah, thinking about it later on, I thought so. But I wanted that car so badly after I saw this film.
And that's why they did it.
Yeah.
12-year-old.
That's why I did it. They sold a child on a car.
Yeah.
I'm sure
I
they made a
guarantee.
lot of money.
50 years' time, when Ben's doing really well, he'll be driving that R8.
Running around
and be
in an
like,
Audi.
I did it.
It got me to
Finally
get
did it.
it got me to get Forza Motorsport 3 because that car was on the cover. So I was like,
There
oh my
you
god, it's
go.
Iron Man's car. I need
See?
it.
It's insidious.
Yeah. Damn.
Anyway, I'm going to
Final action sequence.
I'm going to lump all the final action sequence into one bit, because, to be honest, it's kind of an uninspired action sequence. Compared to, like, the coolness that was the tank sequence and the suit-up sequence, this is kind of lame. And it falls into a trap that a lot of Marvel films fall into. It's like, it's Iron Man versus an Iron Man who's maybe a bit bigger or has different coloured eyes, but it's a different Iron Man. I'm like, okay.
That and, yeah, Obadiah's just change from, like... I can believe him killing Tony to get him out of the way and stop his new bullshit. That I can believe. But then when we get the action sequence and he's just like, oh, right, we're in the middle of the street. There's a car filled with a woman and 3 children. I'm just going to toss this at you casually, Tony. It's like, the fuck?
Obadiah loses his sanity. Like, as soon as S.H.I.E.L.D. comes to get him, he's like, fuck it. Society's wronged me. I'm killing everyone.
Yeah, he shifts there from just this crafty sort of dickhead businessman who wants to make money and doesn't really give a fuck to just villain. Oh god, the world and everyone needs to die. And his motives just don't make any sense anymore.
I see you've upgraded your armor. I've made some upgrades of my own.
To be fair, I do like the moment where it's just like they're flying up in the sky. It's like, my suit is better than yours in every way. I just solved the icing problem. The what? You might want to look into that. Boink.
I mean, that really should have been where it ended.
Yeah.
That really should have been where it ended.
I
But then
I
we're
would
like,
be so happy with that.
and then we get back to the ground. They're like, "Oh, Obadiah is fine, apparently." And
I was
now
gonna
we have
say,
a whole other thing to do.
It was cool, but it didn't make a shit bit of difference to anything. I agree. It should have ended there. It would have been nice.
That's a cool moment as well.
It is, but then it kind of was nullified, and it was like, oh well, that just delayed him for a few seconds.
Then we get that really weird bit where he like rips out the eyes of the suit, so then he has to take the top off, and it's just like Jeff Bridges in this weird like CGI.
You know what? You've just explained for a long time. The whole time I've watched this movie from like 2 years ago to now, I've been like, why did he take the helmet off? I never noticed him rip the eyes out.
Oh.
Makes sense.
Yes,
I was just like, why is he taking it off?
He jumps
now?
on his back and he's like, this looks important, rips a cord out, and that takes away all of his vision inside the suit, so he has to take it off.
Oh,
Was
okay,
it
right. That makes more
pertinent?
sense to me now.
I can't
Was it
remember. Was it pertinent to his defeat? I can't even remember. Didn't he just get?
Yeah, kind of, because after he like traps Iron Man on the roof and he's like almost falling down into the arc reactor, he has to like manually try and aim the missile.
Yeah, apparently,
Misses like 3 times.
yeah, he can't aim for shit apparently without it.
His aim is fucking
I
terrible.
don't know why he can't, but
He's a businessman. He's not an ass.
Just line up your arm. That's all you have to do.
I'll get you with one of these, Tony.
just watching it right now. It's so ridiculous to Jeff Bridges with these like giant robot legs, and giant robot arms, just like lumbering forwards.
With a box of scraps.
He bought her in a cave! What a box of scraps!
Good actor, just terrible finish.
That might be my favourite thing. Well, I don't know. There's a lot of great stuff later from some villains, but that's one of my favourite things a villain says in a Marvel film. Period.
Yeah.
100%.
Unbelievable.
He built it in a cave!
What a mock.
It's great.
Yeah, so finally we get the ending. There's the press conference. We get a little back and forth with Pepper, and that's when he's like, "Hey, remember that night? You mean the night that you ditched me?" He's like, "Oh yeah, shit."
I'm cool with that.
And then we get the classic. Well, sorry, we get the first. It's Shield now because we got the ongoing joke of not knowing how to shorten that name. I feel like that should be very obvious
Yeah.
to the people in their PR department.
They're not the smartest, the folks at S.H.I.E.L.D.
I mean, there's a continuity problem that's introduced later with that, but
Yeah.
It was
it's a Captain Marvel.
that's for
It's
other movies.
Captain Marvel set in the 90s, and anyway, it doesn't matter.
But yeah, and then we get
right,
classic.
okay.
I am Iron Man.
Yeah, we get what really cemented the MCU. Like, if it wasn't for the I am Iron Man moment, I don't think the MCU would have really been as strong. It wouldn't have had a stronger launch pad, but it really set the feel and the tone. And like, our secret identities don't matter. Our superheroes are like brash assholes half the time, and it's cool. Like, this is just cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I agree. It fits with his character a lot better, doesn't it? Just like, yeah, whatever.
It would have been so much worse if he was like, "Oh, it's my secret identity."
Yeah, I mean, I like how they allude to like the comic book thing that it's like he pretends that it's his bodyguard, but they acknowledge it's like that's so flimsy, so they just oh right, he just says no, it's me guys.
She's like, "Fuck it."
Sob this,
And then there's only really one last thing to talk about the film, and that's its after credit sequence, which
Very, very brief.
I had never seen it before until for some reason never watched all the way to the end of the credits before, or unless it just wasn't there before when I used to watch it on like my DVD or something. But it's weird and bad.
It's kind of bad, but I imagine it being like pants-wettingly cool at the time.
For like the first time ever.
Like in 2008, that would have been amazing. But now that we've seen all the other sequences, like, oh, is that it?
Yeah.
What is it?
Tony comes home after a press conference, and someone's in his house, and all the lights are off, and Jarvis is somehow he disabled Jarvis. Don't know how he did it, but Nick Fury's just kind of sat in his settee, and he's like, "Yo, bitch, join my Avengers," and then the whole movie ends.
It's like you think you're the only superhero in the world, Mr. Stark. You've become part of a bigger universe. You just don't know it yet.
There's actually a whole 2 other heroes than you. So,
go on. The heroes at that point?
Captain America, who's frozen at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, and Captain Marvel, who's not been on the planet since the 90s. But you're part of a wider world now.
You've had like...
The Hulk exists at this point, doesn't he?
I guess so. Well, the Incredible Hulk movie takes place at the same time, like as this movie.
Because I remember Iron Man appears in it briefly, like Tony Stark, not Iron Man.
Yeah, he's the after credit sequence. Anyway, this is next week. Fuck it. This is spoilers. I'm forgetting the whole premise of the goddamn show. We finished the synopsis.
Woo!
Yeah.
Short and sweet.
So, what was the final part after the synopsis?
We
can't really rank the movie because.
Well, obviously, it's number 1 on the list so far. Well,
so it's the worst and the best on the list.
It's the worst and the best. Any parting words you have about Iron Man?
Yes,
it's really good. It's good. It's a lot more grounded. It doesn't even strike me as a superhero movie, really, because it's not, in a sense. It doesn't have that bombastic, over the top nature that a lot of the later ones do, for obvious reasons.
You could tell it's the first film in what they were trying to make a franchise, because the lack of the typical Marvel bombastic. It's very grounded, and you can tell it's the first time around. But I mean that in the best way possible, because again, I can barely tell that this film is 12 years old. I think it's after revisiting it after like 7 years, it's been fantastic.
There's hints of like the MCU and like what's going to come next, but the emphasis here was clearly on making a good film first, which is what it should be. Looking at you.
That's a lesson DC needs to learn.
Looking at you, Batman, Superman. But yeah, it's just great.
I love the sort of just coming of age of it all. In a sense, more
this might. I don't know. I really do like Batman Begins, but this might be my favorite superhero origin film, because it's like it does everything it needs to do. It doesn't feel overly long. The action's great, and we get what we need, apart from the last like 25 minutes where the movie just
I was
like
going to say, the last 25
just
minutes,
jumps the gun.
Yeah, the last 25 minutes drops it a bit.
Actually, no, yeah, no. I'm thinking about it. No, Batman Begins is my favorite origin movie, but
Yeah.
this is great too. So yeah, that was it's number one on our list. Shall we all vote it into number one, guys? Where do you want it on our list?
Damn
This
it.
is disgraceful.
I veto this.
Number 2
Oh.
for me. I'm afraid.
Okay, Iron Man. It's a shit film. Right, next week we've got The Incredible Hulk, and I mean, do any of you have any thoughts about The Incredible Hulk now? And are you looking forward to watching it? Because I got to say, I'm not.
Nothing
I
about it.
remember.
Apart from
remember
that
it being.
Iron Man appears in it.
I remember it being better than I thought it was gonna be. I think it's fine.
I don't think I'd ever liked The Incredible Hulk, but
I'd.
we'll see. We're
We'll
going to
see.
watch it for next week, so.
Well, there's so many different Hulk movies, right? I can't remember which one this is.
There's 2.
This is 2008's Incredible Hulk. The other one's called Just Hulk.
Just
this-
Hulk is weird and bad. This is not as bad as that, but it's still not.
It's still
Great.
not
If,
great.
if it's the one I'm thinking of, has it got the same actor? Has it got Mark Ruffalo as a different actor?
No, it's
It's a different actor.
Different, yes,
Edward
it is.
Norton.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you know, when I watched this, I enjoyed it, right? Watched it as a kid, enjoyed it. However, I have no idea what it's going to be like now, but I liked it.
Yeah,
back
I'm
in the
curious
day.
to see what it's like on a rewatch.
Yeah. I
Again,
really
this is
liked
what...
it.
actually, no, that's for next week. I know I don't like this film very much, but we'll get to it.
I'm excited.
Right, so that's it for the... whatever this is called. Woo.
Chips and dip.
It was a
Please.
good first episode. We enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoy this sort of thing.
Yeah.
I like talking about media I enjoy. So, yeah, join us next week for The Incredible Hulk. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike, call me a bitch, tell me why... I don't know.
You're a
Check
bitch.
out Twitch.
Rate me between 1 and 10 on my Obadiah Stane impression, okay? And then rate each one of us. Who was the best Obadiah Stane?
Can you give us a fresh Obadiah Stane impression, please, Chris?
Okay, one sec. Just got to get into
We
character.
all have to
of
do
course.
it if Chris is
But I
doing
need
it.
to put a tie on.
I need to shave my head. I need to grow maybe a
Needs
foot
to turn
taller.
white.
I need to be white.
Change race.
Tony, start building a cave with a box of scraps.
See, that's pretty good.
I mean, Jeff Bridges, who? I mean,
I
could have
give
been you,
that.
Chris.
Cast me, Marvel.
I give that a solid 5 out of 7 box of scraps.
Perfect. Anyway,
Everything about that was very random.
it was. See you all next time.
Adios, amigos.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.